G'day guys, welcome back to VTA. We're here in Dad's shed again. We're going to start pulling apart the Continental, the 6-cylinder Continental that goes in the 102 Senior. This is supposed to be the good engine. So yeah, we're going to start pulling pistons out tonight and then go from there. I'll probably run out of time and head home, but Dad will keep working at this, and hopefully he'll get some photos and maybe a bits of video and time lapse and whatnot, and we'll keep you updated. But yeah, so we'll get a little bit tonight, and then yeah, Dad will get some more done. That'll probably still be in this video, but you won't see me. So, all right guys, we'll get into it. Okay, so we're going to have a close look. As you can see, we've got the sump off this engine, and it's upside down. We'll have a look at some damage and some things that we're going to have to deal with. So as you can see, this plate here, that's where your flywheel goes on. So this is the back of the engine. The corner's broken off here. This is not even close to flat, which is obviously an issue. And we've got a few broken bolts. Like there's a sump bolt. This piece here, which is where the sump seals, it looks to be homemade, which is fine. If it works, that's great. But if the one that's in the tractor is good, then we'll use that. So that's sort of the plan. They're a really interesting engine. I was actually looking at them, and you see the conrod, the journal is offset from the center line of the conrod. So I guess they're just trying to get the rod away from, or the center line of the journal away from the bearing, but still keep the rod centered in the piston. So yeah, so that one's offset this way, and then this one's offset the other way. So I think it's a really interesting engine. Yeah, so we're going to start ripping it apart, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so we got the first cap off the rod. The bearing, as you can see, it's had some junk go through it. It sort of looks worse than it is, though. If this was some sort of high-performance engine, then, you know, obviously that wouldn't be okay. But being that this engine, you can't even really get parts for them, it's probably going to be all right. We're going to give it a test with some plastic gauge and just see what sort of clearance we got. But I've got a feeling it's actually going to be fine, or close enough to fine for me.
Well, that's got all the components stripped out of the engine except for the valve lifters, which I'll just need to make something so as I can keep them in their right location before I take them down any further. Everything doesn't look too bad. I think this engine's done a fair bit of work, and it's had some work on it because it's got a mixture of bolts in it. It's got some BSW and some UNF and UNC and everything else, but essentially it's all there, and I think it should be a good basis to build a reasonably sound engine. I'm going to strip the other engine out of the, I'll strip this engine out here and just see what the bottom end looks like, because I think, as we've mentioned before, this engine does have a badge on it that says it's been overhauled at some stage. So it may have a good bottom end in it, who knows, but we will find out. Right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the front, and hopefully strip this engine down, because clearly before I can put the other one together, we're going to have to hopefully reclaim a few parts out of this engine. So yeah, I'm going to strip all the bits and pieces off so I can get the engine out. That's been pretty successful tonight. I've managed to get a lot of stuff off the engine. There's a few bits still stuck on there that I can't get to. I think I've probably just about got enough to take the fuel tank and steering wheel out, I reckon, and I can probably disconnect the engine and lift it out. Then I can turn it over and work on the bottom rather than climb underneath it. So anyway, good night. Yeah, let's just keep progressing. Got a small issue. I've got to lift the engine out and the steering shaft comes through right over there. It's going to be a really tight fit. So I thought I'll pull the steering shaft out. I've undone the clamp that holds the clamp on, and then I've noticed that it's got a pin through it that someone's put through it. Not only that, but they've welded it around the edge as well. So yeah, a little more complicated than I thought. So we'll get the air grinder in there, the die grinder with the gouge bit, and we'll see if we can open it up enough to come off. Oh, there we go. The die grinder with a pointy little bit was able to gouge the weld out. The pin grind the end off the pin and knock the pin out easily enough. Pulled the shaft out and just give it a quick linish to take the weld marks off it, and I should be able to pull the steering wheel out no problem. Well, I've got the other engine out, I've got it on the floor, I've turned it upside down. I'm now going to whip the sump off and have a quick look inside and just see what condition this engine's in. I needed to do it from underneath, and it's easy just to take it out and turn the engine over, because underneath, because everything's seized, so I can't turn anything over to get anything apart. So I'm going to have to take basically the crankshaft out first, and then hopefully I can knock the pistons out underneath there, and we'll see between the two engines which set of parts we're going to use. But yeah, so I'm just going to rip the sump off and probably pull the flywheel and clutch and everything off, and then we'll see where we go after that. Okay, on initial, we've got the sump off, clutch and flywheel are off. Initially, my thoughts looking at this engine are that it's been professionally rebuilt. It's better than the other engine. The other engine had a mixture of Whitworth bolts and AF bolts and all sorts of weird things. And we noticed that in the conrod caps there was nails used as in place of split pins and various things like that. But this engine all appears to have been very professionally done. Everything is all there. It is badly stuck, there's no doubt about that, and there has been a fair bit of water in the crankcase. But anyway, that'll have to do for tonight, but we'll look at getting it stripped and see what we can see, and with a bit of luck, maybe this has a good crankshaft and good big end bearings, or better than the other one. Not sure. We'll just have to see how we go. We can maybe make one nice engine out of the two.
Okay, so as you've seen, Dad's been digging in. I'm back here just to have a look and see what he's up to. But yeah, this is that spare engine we had, completely disassembled now. As you can see, the bores and everything in it actually look quite good. It's got its issues, but between that and the engine that actually came out of the tractor, between the two, I think we can make it all work. So we're pretty happy there. But yeah, so between the two, we've definitely got enough parts. We've got what looks to be good clutches, and yeah, we can definitely make something work. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching this episode. We'll try to keep you posted on what Dad's up to with the 102 Senior. But yeah, he's making a bit of progress, and yeah, hopefully this will turn out to be a really nice tractor.